Welcome back. It's Tony again with my top 10 albums of 2024. There's going to be two extra honorable mentions. There were two albums that were literally at the top of my list this year, but since they technically came out in 2023, I'm just going to make them honorable mentions and I'm going to do the 10 that officially came out this year that were my top 10 in rotation. I don't do Spotify. That's why I'm called Physical Copy Fanatic. I believe in holding the album in my hand, whether it's a CD or a vinyl record. I'm really big on having a physical copy of it. But I do download stuff, obviously, I have to. I mean, that's just the way it is. But when I can, I try to get it on vinyl. And if it's something I really love, I get it on vinyl and CD. So let's get started. My first one was a late entry this year. This is The Great Impersonator by Halsey. Now, this album, wasn't really sure what to make of it at first. The first two songs that were released on iTunes, I didn't much care for. I thought, well, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan, so I might pass this one up. But then she did these photos of her icons. She did Dolly Parton and she did Kate Bush. And I was really impressed with just the detail and the level of, commitment to it. And I thought, well, maybe I do need to give this another shot. And I listened to it and it was really good. And so I decided to go ahead and get it on vinyl. This is Halsey, The Great Impersonator. So that's number 10, but this is loosely in order because it changes from week to week. I just, my taste changes and I might be on a kick of one thing one week and then a kick on something else the next week. But this is kind of how I feel about it for this year. Number 9 is Madeleine Perrot, and this album is called Let's Walk. And it was another one that I was really excited about getting, but the first song I wasn't like that crazy about. It was okay. But the more I listen to this album, the more I love it. She's more of a jazz kind of artist. She sounds a little bit like Billie Holiday. If you like sort of jazzy, folky kind of music, this is really, really good. Definitely check her out. Madeleine Perrot. And next up is one that I almost forgot about. This came out with no fanfare, hardly any social media stuff. I mean, it was hardly knew anything about it. Don't Forget Me by Maggie Rogers. And apparently I did forget about her. But it's fantastic. I love her and I love this album. The standout tracks are, what was it? So Sick of Dreaming, and then the title track, Don't Forget Me. She's really good. Kind of in the vein of like Sarah McLachlan, Florence and the Machine, kind of, girl alternative pop. So next up, this is one you couldn't have told me 10, well, I don't even know if he's been around that long. Let's say 5 years ago. You couldn't have said, hey, Tony, 5 years from now, you're going to be buying a Post Malone album. F1 Trillion, Post Malone Goes Country, and it is fantastic. It's mostly like duets. The only one that I would skip over would be Jelly Roll because he's, whatever. But the rest of it is great. And then the song he does by himself, what is it called? Well, shoot. Hang on a second, I'm going to get it. What Don't Belong to Me. Probably one of the best songs of the year. What Don't Belong to Me by Post Malone. Great album. Check it out. If you like country, he's a great songwriter, This one, speaking of great songwriters, Taylor Swift. I don't have the anthology version. May not get it. I'm happy with this. I got the anthology on CD when it came out at Target. Taylor is always going to be a favorite of mine. This album came out at a time this year when we were going through something, kind of rough, and I was having to make a lot of drives to Alexander City, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from here. So I listened to it on the way there, on the way back. Fell in love with this album. Taylor really never disappoints. This is a lot slower and more low key than what I would prefer. Somebody on TikTok did every song off of this album remixed into a poppy dance club version, and they were all so good. And the reason is because her songwriting is so good. So, Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift. So, next up is a British artist that I had not really heard of very much until about a year or two ago. His name is, he goes by Bright Light, Bright Light. I can't remember his actual name. But Bright Light, Bright Light. He is an openly gay artist. He does dance pop. This is his album, and it's called, I can't remember album names for some reason, Enjoy Youth. And so this is very dancey, very poppy, very upbeat. And for it to be like somebody that I've not really ever heard of, it was in my player almost all summer long. I absolutely love this album. Every song, there's not a bad song on it. You just can listen to it from front to back, no skips. Bright Light, Enjoy Youth. This is another late comer. I'd heard of this guy. Omar Apollo. God Said No. I love the title. Just straight out love the title. Because one of my favorite sayings was, growing up, I grew up in a very Christian upbringing with being in the Southern Baptist Church, and people would always say, I prayed and prayed, but God didn't answer my prayer. No, he answered. The answer was no. Anyway, he is openly gay, and the title comes from, I think he was basically saying something about, how he prayed not to be gay or something, and God said no. He prayed for a relationship to work out, and God said no. This is what you got. Deal with it. This is a beautiful album. It is about a bad breakup, I think. Some standout songs on this are Spite. And I forget the other one. There was another one that was really good. But yeah, check this out. This is very, it's not really the style of music that I would listen to. Typically, it's very young. And I mean, I'm old, so I like more, I don't know what, he does a lot of like the sort of spoken, almost a rap, like a real rapid fire rap kind of singing. But he also sings really beautifully too. So it's very interesting. And I like to keep my mind open, Omar Apollo, God Said No. So now we're up to the top 3 albums, and this is one that I wasn't expecting to get, but I love it. Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. And the album is just that. It is short and sweet. Very to the point, short little pop songs, but they are so good. There's like maybe 1 or 2 songs that aren't my favorite, but the rest of it is spectacular. It's Please, 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 Please is the song that I'm not a huge fan of just because they played it to death. But now Espresso, I'm still listening to it. It's just great. So, and she's been around for a little while. This is like her 6th album, but this is the first time people are really hearing of her, which is why I think, isn't she up for Best New Artist at the Grammys or something? I don't know. Anyway, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, very good album. Now this one dominated. I mean, it dominated. And I'm so proud of her because I have been a fan of her since the very beginning. Charli XCX, Brat. Can you think of a more culturally impactful album than this year? I mean, it's made so many like headlines. And I'm just so proud of her because it's her doing what she's always wanted to do the way she wants to do it. And she's actually getting recognition for it. Instead of her doing like, I think her last album, I liked it, but I think that's like her least favorite because she was trying to play that pop girl genre and she just didn't want to. She's not that. She is so much more. This is electronica. It is like so ahead of its time. Uh, Brat, Charlie XCX, number 2 on my list. And so now for the top album of the year. Again, this is another one. If you told me 3 or 4 years ago your favorite album of the year is going to be Billie Eilish, I would have said, no, I'm not really into her. Hit Me Hard and Soft is the most perfect album to come out this year. I mean, from beginning to end, it is a journey, and you have to listen to it from beginning to end. When I tell you that this album takes you on a mind trip, musically, lyrically, her vocals, everything about it is just incredible. And I'm so glad that I finally warmed up to her. I've listened to some of her older stuff and I'm still not into it. I think she has matured to a point to where it's like my taste and her style are matching up. Whereas before it just wasn't what I was into. And now it is. And I like this direction and I hope she stays going in this direction. So Billie Eilish, my #1 album of the year, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Now, I want to mention 2 albums. These are honorable mentions. They came out 2023. Teddy Swims. So this is the Record Store Day. His album's called I've Tried Everything But Therapy Part 1. So this is the Record Store Day Part 1.5 that adds some bonus tracks. And it's so worth it. He is someone to watch. He reminds me of like if Adele and Sam Smith had a baby, had a tattooed, shaved head, bearded baby. And he is just, his voice, his vocals, the songwriting, everything about it is just, it's magic. Definitely check out Teddy Swims, I've Tried Everything But Therapy. Part 2 comes out in 2025, I believe. And finally, truly, this is the artist of the year. Now, the others, the top 3 were great. This girl crushed it in so many ways. This album came out in 2023, and I really wish that I'd known about it. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. Finding out about it when I did, I was actually able to score a much cooler variant of the vinyl than if I just bought it at the very beginning and then said, you know, I probably wouldn't have wanted to buy it twice. I don't know, though. To be honest, I've bought this album 3 times, so I can't say that. Chappell Roan, Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. I don't think I've been more excited about an artist like this since Lady Gaga. I mean, she is phenomenal. I so look forward to what she has coming up. This song just blew me away. Like the first 3 tracks alone, you're sucked in and you're like, what the hell? Where did she come from? It's incredible. The most anthemic, fun pop music that makes you want to join in. And that was her whole purpose. Her song Hot to Go, she said, I want to have a song like Queen's Radio Gaga where the whole audience participates. And she did it. She achieved that goal. She had some, moderate success at the beginning, but then this summer she did some concerts and festivals, and the crowd sizes were breaking records. And it's so amazing to see someone who, again, like Sabrina Carpenter, she's been working at it for 10 years, but it's finally coming to fruition. And same with Charlie XCX. Charlie's been at it for a long time, and she's finally getting her dues. So the girls dominated this year, and I couldn't be happier because I love some girly pop. That's just my thing. So anyway, that was my top 10 of 2024. And I'll be back in the new year to do some more videos. I'm going to try to be as consistent here as I used to be on TikTok and Instagram. You know, TikTok is going to be leaving, and when that happens, I plan on deleting my Instagram and my Facebook. I've been with Instagram since 2011, And it's sad, but it's time to move on. And the way the world's going, the things that are happening, I don't want to play into that. I don't want to be a part of that. So I'm just going to leave. I've already left the Bird app, because to that guy. And, same with Zuck. I'm leaving on both because, you know, I'm very liberal. And if you don't like that, then don't subscribe because that's going to be part of it. I'm going to talk about records, but I'm also going to talk about things that matter to me. And this does. So, anyway, that being said, I'm going to try to highlight different types of music, new things that I get. If something comes in the mail that I'm excited about, or if if there's a new release that I'm excited about. The first thing I can think of that's coming out next year is Ollie Alexander from Years and Years has a new album. And, oh gosh, there's one more. I can't think of it. Anyway, anytime something new is coming out that I'm excited about, I'm going to post about that. So hopefully you can join me on this little trip. And I don't know, this is very different from TikTok because, I don't know how to use it well enough yet to add music. I'm just going to be talking. Eventually, maybe I would like to be able to add music and maybe do more editing. This is all very, very low quality because I don't really know how to use YouTube. But I will learn, and hopefully you will subscribe and follow and watch me as I'm learning and watch me as I'm growing. So anyway, that's it for tonight, and have a good night, and I will see you next time.